Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, welcome. Thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Dina. Today we are talking about podcasts. Podcasts are such a big part of my day. I usually like to start my morning off by listening to a podcast while I eat some breakfast. I think they're just a really great way to stay present in the moment, gain some sort of valuable lesson, also stay off your phone and stay off of social media. I usually like to play one while I eat and I just won't go on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it may be for a few hours anyways in the morning, and I think it's just a really good way to start your day. So I listen to a lot of different podcasts, but today I'm just going to talk about my current favorites, the ones that I am clicking on the most often, the ones that are more spiritual and witchy, since, you know, that's mostly what my channel is about. But if you guys are interested in the other types of podcasts I listen to, I can also make a non-spiritual witchy podcast, you know, favorites list. But yeah, without any further ado, let's talk about my current favorites for spiritual and witchy podcasts. So the first one I really like to listen to is the Highest Self podcast with Sahara Rose. Sahara Rose is amazing. I just really connect with anything that she says, honestly. I recently read her Discover Your Dharma book. It's all about, you know, finding your life's, your soul's purpose. I really want to get her oracle deck as well. It is on my wish list currently. But I also listen to her podcast and I really enjoy it. She has a variety of different guests on her show. For the most part, I find every single episode really interesting. I have to say she's definitely one of my favorite go-tos. So if you're looking for something that's very motivational, and if you feel like you're stuck in your life and you're kind of just in a little bit of a cycle, or you are not necessarily, you know, going for what you really want in life, but you feel like you need to, you know, stick to what's safe or what society has told you should be doing, then I think this is just a really good podcast to get out of that mindset, motivate you to go for what you really want, and basically live your best life, because we don't have forever on this earth, so we might as well be living our best lives. Definitely one of my favorite podcasts. So the next podcast I want to talk about is a more witchy podcast. It's called Witch Yes. It is so entertaining, guys. One of the things I love about this podcast is that the hosts, Alicia Herder and Tara Keck, are just so funny. They're so entertaining. They don't take life too seriously, but it's also super informative. If you were looking for some information about witchcraft, you're like a baby witch like me, you're looking for some new information, they do their research. These episodes are jam-packed with so much information, so much history. It's just so helpful, but at the same time they make it so fun. They're hilarious. I'll be listening and I'll just die of laughter because they're just so entertaining. This podcast is actually recommended to me by a baby witch that I met on Instagram, so thank you so much. They talk about everything from different rituals to the Sabbats to different spell work, different historical events, tarot. They talk about everything, so it's really good. I highly recommend it. The next podcast I enjoy listening to is called the Science and Spirituality Podcast. Now, my thinking brain loves this podcast, and I don't know if any of you struggle with this, but you know, being someone who has a background in science, and I just I'm a very analytical person too, but I'm also spiritual. It's hard to find that balance sometimes, and often, you know, I just want to believe something or have faith in something, but my brain doesn't exactly work that way. I often need some sort of, you know, logical evidence to back something up. So the reason I love this podcast is they pair science with spirituality, and they give you lessons and deliver messages that can also be applied in a practical way in your life. And honestly, sometimes it's just nice to have, you know, the science to back different spiritual ideas up and it not just be woo. It's nice to have a little bit of science there. So I do really like this, and I'm not saying you can't just be woo. I love that stuff too, but I really love this podcast for that reason. And I'm not saying that it matters that, you know, what gender you are, but the hosts for this are two men, and most of the podcasts I do follow are by women, and most of the people I've met that are into the spiritual witchy stuff are women. And I know there's men out there, but I feel we need more men, or maybe there's not as many men talking about it. So it's kind of refreshing to see thoughts and ideas come from a male perspective too. I think that's really cool, and men that are also embracing their divine feminine energy as well. I think it's really neat, and I think we need to get, you know, both genders, all genders really. We don't want to label things male or female, because that's not always the case, but I think everyone can be involved in witchcraft and spirituality, and I think it's important that we're inclusive of everybody. So I think that's really cool. So just thought I'd throw that idea, that, you know, point in there. But I really like this podcast and the different energy it brings to my podcast collection, because there's a lot of female energy, so it's really cool to have that balance. So the next podcast I want to talk about is Tarot Bites. I love this podcast. This is a podcast for tarot people. So if you love the tarot and if you are new to tarot, this is a very helpful podcast. Now this podcast is definitely true to its name in that they are tarot bites, so bite-sized lessons. The podcast episodes themselves are not overly long. They teach you all sorts of things, from like talking about the different suits, like the basics, to talking about tarot with the Akashic records, or even giving you tips when you're reading professionally and different types of people you may read for, or like different energies that you may come in contact with. I have to say, if you love the tarot, and especially if you're looking to read professionally eventually, this is a very helpful podcast to give you different points of view and talk about tarot in relation to other ideas that you may not even thought of, honestly, like tarot and disabilities or tarot and whatever it may be. They honestly talk about like every single subject, so I highly recommend this podcast. The fifth podcast I have written down is the Tailored Adventure to Happiness. Now this is kind of a self-help / spirituality podcast. I find Taylor just really, an interesting person to listen to, and I think you really have to connect with the person when you listen to a podcast, obviously. Like, you have to connect to their energy. And Taylor has such an interesting backstory, and I do really enjoy her energy. And she talks about a variety of things, from the fear of being judged to attracting money in your life, past life regressions. Honestly, anything you can think of that's like spiritual or like self-help, there's usually an episode about that. Not to mention, she obviously has like a lot of different guest speakers. A lot of these podcasts do. And you can find something that you're interested in depending on the day. It's not like the same sort of stuff all the time. So if you are the kind of person who's into self-help books or like spirituality books and things like that, then I think you'll enjoy this podcast as well. Now, the final podcast I'd like to talk about today is something I just recently discovered. I actually discovered his YouTube first, and then I went to his podcast because I'm like, oh my God, I love this guy's vibes. I need more of him. And it's called Heinz Sight, Heinz with a Z. And this guy, guys, oh my God, he has such a calm, chill vibe. I absolutely love him. So his podcast episodes are quite short. They're just like little tidbits, but you get so much quality content in such a small amount of time. It's amazing. Like, the kind of thoughts, ideas this guy has is genius. I watched a video recently, and I can link it below for you guys if you're interested, but he talks about this idea about bamboo growth. Now, I don't want to get too much into that because I don't want to take away from the powerful aspect of his video. Like, if you guys are interested, go see that. But oh my God, guys, this idea spoke to me so much. It's stuck in my brain since I watched this video. It's a kind of video you guys need to watch if you feel like you're taking too long to grow, things are taking too long to happen in your life, or you're watching, friends on social media and like, oh, this person's getting married, this person's having kids, this person's just bought their house, this person's traveling, like all those different times in your life where you think that other people are growing or progressing faster than you. If you ever have had a moment like that, which I can guarantee probably everyone watching this video has, because we all do it, then you guys need to watch this video, oh my God, and you need to check out his podcast because he is amazing. So anyways, Heinz Sight, that is the final podcast I want to talk about today. With that being said, guys, I do listen to numerous other podcasts I really enjoy. So if you guys want a part 2, I could do a part 2. I just don't want to make this video too long, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some, ideas of different content to listen to that can enrich your lives even more. If you're having a bad day, or if you woke up in the morning feeling like very blah and tired, which happens to me a lot because I'm not a morning person, believe me. I find that listening to one of these podcasts first thing in the morning with my cup of tea is just such a great way to start your day. So I hope you guys incorporate one or a few of these into your life because they're really amazing. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I put up new videos every single week. I'd love to have you join our family. Also, this is a little late for me to say this because I bulk film my videos, so there's a whole bunch of videos that have gone out since. I just want to say thank you so much for helping me reach 500 subscribers on my channel. I really, truly appreciate it, guys. Like, my heart is just overwhelmed with love. It's amazing. And it's not just the numbers, guys. It's just like the communication, the community that I feel like we're growing. And I was so excited because I didn't even realize that I had hit 500 subscribers when I hit it. I was actually just, you know, I think I was working. I don't even know what I was doing. But I had seen a notification on my phone and someone had commented on one of my videos and they're like, you're at 500 subs! And I thought it was so cute. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet that someone commented that. Like, other people are getting excited for me. And I think that's just so fun and cute and like sweet. And thank you. Thank you so much for your support and your love and everything. Like, it's just amazing. I'm not gonna ramble any longer. I just want you guys to know, like, I truly, truly do appreciate everything you guys do. Every like, every subscribe, every comment. It's really, really cool to build a community. Thank you again, guys, from the bottom of my heart. Honestly, I do appreciate it. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.